Right, back in the sun this morning. Enzo's ready to quit. Enzo Maresca is prepared to quit Chelsea. Martin Lipton writes, after a massive fallout with the board, it's understood that the Italian's future is set to be decided today. Joining us now for more of this, talkSPORT reporter, man well connected at Chelsea, Ben Jacobs. Right, Ben?
Morning,
Good
Ben.
morning. Happy New Year.
Happy
New Year, Ben. What's going on at Chelsea then?
Well, as we broke last night on talkSPORT, Enzo Maresca was not sick, despite reports and even his assistant, Willy Caballero, saying that was the case following the 2-2 draw with Bournemouth. And instead, Maresca decided not to face the media because he's deciding what his options are and ultimately his future at Chelsea. But this is, of course, two-way, and it's not solely in Maresca's hands. From his perception, he doesn't feel protected. And there's kind of a line that he feels certain people within the project have crossed in terms of interfering with the football side of things. That's his view. Chelsea insiders have a different story, and their belief is that Enzo Maresca is maybe using the media to drive himself out of the football club, and maybe there's a feeling from some within the Chelsea board that they have actually backed their manager. They didn't sack him during a poor festive period last season. They handed him a 5-year contract. So there's clearly two different sides to this story, but the reality is that both parties can't get on the same page. And as Enzo Maresca continues to speak publicly, Chelsea's board are infuriated by that, and results haven't come. 1 win in 7 Premier League games. So there's now going to be a board meeting today to discuss Enzo Maresca's future. And my understanding is that his likelihood of managing against Manchester City on the 4th of January is now in doubt. So we may get developments regarding his future later today.
I mean, unbelievable, really, because I think he's done all right, Enzo Maresca, you know, with a team who with lots of changes, you know, constantly selling players, buying players, and, you know, wins the Club World Cup, you know, finished, 4th last season, and, you know, wins the Europa Conference League, and he started, it's only a few weeks ago, we were talking about Chelsea being title contenders. They beat Barcelona 3-0, played really well against Arsenal, and then they've dropped off and fell off a cliff, and now we're talking about him leaving. Basket case of a football club, really, Chelsea, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that Chelsea's project is ambitious and it requires breaking a few eggs to make the omelette. But what we're finding, if you look historically, is all the managers that have come in have had a slightly different football vision to the project. And of course, Chelsea stand by their project, and you can argue, on the one hand, Maresca delivered silverware, but perhaps Chelsea's hierarchy would counter and say it's the project that moves forwards, that gets the gold badge on the shirt, that wins the Conference League, that qualifies for the Champions League. So they're looking to kick on. And at the moment, the form of Chelsea has them pretty much where they were a year ago, and they're moving backwards in the league table. So big decisions have to be made, and some cutthroat ones potentially. And I think if Maresca leaves, he'll feel hard done by, because perhaps he would argue that the project didn't allow him to manage as freely as he would have liked. And Chelsea will probably counter again and say the project's full of proof and will continue to move on. And if a manager outstays his welcome after doing some very successful things, you find another manager. And there's the likes of Liam Rosenior at Strasbourg, who was always viewed as a long-term option for Chelsea. Do they turn to him now if Maresca departs? Oliver Glasner is appreciated, and Roberto De Zerbi has admirers as well.
Did you say Liam Rosenior?
Yeah, at Strasbourg.
That's
the Chelsea job.
Well, I mean, it remains to be seen whether we can link him at this point should Maresca leave. But the Chelsea belief is anyone at Strasbourg, a coach, a manager, a player, has the potential, if they do well, to climb up the group. So Rosenior is someone that Chelsea's hierarchy and those within Blueco think has done a good job. And there is a possibility, if there's a vacancy at Chelsea, whether now or in the future, that he'll be spoken of. Then there's a more experienced manager like Oliver Glasner, expected to leave Crystal Palace at the end of the season, could therefore be persuaded potentially to take a job mid-season for the right project. And Roberto De Zerbi, I'm told, particularly by those at board level at Chelsea, has always been someone that they have admired. But that would be fascinating if it develops, because he's the kind of manager that wants football autonomy, much like Enzo Maresca.
Yeah.
Do you know what, though, Ben? Like, looking from the outside, right, they've spent over £1 billion on players. Maresca won't get a better job than this. really. Looking from the outside, you think, well, I can't argue. You give me £1 billion.
I'll get a Man City job.
Yeah, but in the future maybe. But right now, I think Chelsea's a good job for him.
Yeah.
So they give you £1 million. You can't complain about the funds being pushed forward. But being a manager myself and knowing when you've got 33 players that are not playing, you've got 11 you've picked, and you've got another 33 walking around with their face on the floor.
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult job, this. Especially when they know you haven't signed them. It's someone above you signed them.
Yeah.
So you've been left with that job. And I think he's done really well to survive as long as he has. I thought he'd get sacked a long time ago because nobody can knock your door when you keep winning.
Yeah.
When you're losing games, why am I not playing? Why am I not playing? And then it starts. They go behind your back and they get you out. The players get you out. But right now, it looks to me as if he's going, right, I've gone this far. I need some experienced players in my team. I need some centre-backs who can play 7 out of 10 every week, who consistently full internationals. I haven't got to teach them anything. They just know what to do. Or they're trying to pick the team above him and he's not having it.
Ben, is there any like players that they're linked with in Jan?
Well, I think Chelsea were expecting a quiet January, but now we're at January the 1st and they're making all the back pages, but of course not specifically related to the transfer window. What they want in the long run is a midfielder. Elliot Anderson is one of the players on their radar. Adam Wharton is appreciated. Those are expected to be summer sagas, possibly another defender, but I think Chelsea would be quite happy with a quiet January and then to do the vast majority of their business in the summer. But they're always opportunistic in the market, so it wouldn't be a surprise if 1 or 2 come through the door. Whether they're first team players remains to be seen, but the main areas where they'd like to strengthen is the centre of midfield and maybe another centre back. But remember, if Wesley Fofana stays fit and Levi Colwell expected to return maybe in April, they'll think in the long run that's a tried and tested centre back pairing. There's plenty of others that are centre backs already at the club as well, so it might require an outgoing if they are to strengthen in defence, especially in January.
Okay, Ben, you're a star, mate. Thanks for coming on,
Ben.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
Yeah, we're going to be discussing Sunderland v Manchester City clash. Both sides enjoying stellar seasons so far. Who can forget this classic from New Year's Day 2012?
Sessegnon. He's round the goalkeeper. He's done it! Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, could we see some more of that magic today? Former Sunderland defender Mickey Gray will be joining us to preview the game. The kickoff is 8 p.m. It's live on talkSPORT. That was our look ahead, all thanks to the brilliant Travis Perkins.